Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Phenomenal email here. Dear Reb Eli, your daf has truly changed my life. It has made me fall in love with the Gemara and truly not want to miss a day. This has come from someone who was once wished had an extra help in high school over Gemara class, something like that. I truly hated it so much that my parents did not want me to be in Israel for the year. Since I tried to find someone who can completely change the way I look at the daf, through that I found you, made countless others feel alive with Torah and daf. I truly look forward to props and pictures every day. Keeps me entertained and helps me stay focused. My life and family have transformed for the better. I know this because my sons, who's 2 years old or something, unprompted said, "Good morning, Rabbi Isai." This meant so much to me because it means I've defied the odds and truly transformed my life for the better. There's not a day that goes by that I think about how I can include the daf into my schedule today. Thank you. Your Talmud, Harold Hirschman. Rabbi Isai, this is straight from Cape Town, a message from the Rosh Yeshiva. Here goes. You ready, Gary? Seder?
Hi, I'm just here in Cape Town.
That's Leon Welch in the
and
background.
I'm just getting a report on what's going on the revolution you're doing in Cape Town.
Hi, Reb Eli. This is Avi Shlomo from the Ponevezher Shul over here, and you can see the boys on this side. But I just want to say that it's a revolution, a Torah revolution in Cape Town. Kids learning the daf. We have Amir Gelgor, who you might remember was in your shir, and we have guys that have done Yevamos, guys that have done numerous Masechtas. Sam Gavronsky is not here today, but he's doing now Nedarim with you, and Sasha. It's unbelievable what you've accomplished in the Gemaras that you've sent us. Send us a few more. I think we need. But Shkach Reb Eli for all your holy work, and keep it up.
How's the math over there in Ponevezher? That's the Shaila. The Gemara is stark. Benny, what are you saying? That what? It's a real revolution. How do you know? From and the learning Torah. Givaldic. What do we have? This comes from Molandi. It's interesting. I got two things from Molandi, not from him. This I got from Molandi. Molandi says that it seems like in New York, they're sick and tired of the MDY license plate, so the guy went to Lumdus. But somebody else told me not to mention his name, so I'm not going to say his name, but he was flying yesterday to Switzerland, and because Molandi inspired him, he took upon himself to do a whole Masechta. He left London, I'm not going to say his name, Dov Harris. He went from London to Switzerland and back, and he did a Masechta inspired by one individual, Molandi. It's unbelievable. One person. Rabbi Isai, yesterday, a big Hashgacha Pratis, because just the night before yesterday's shir, I was sitting with Avi in my house, and we decided to finalize the details of Yoshi, the artist, and take on a part-time tech guy. Somebody will take us to the next level and do all the small things that need to be done this year. Whether, we bought hundreds of iPads or those tablets that we've never shipped out because they had some technical... We need one guy to sit on it and get things done, the website, the app, the this, the that. So he's finalized yesterday, and we signed the contract with him last night. Just a few hours later, during shir, Hil Kamiansky came over to me immediately after shir, without knowing. He didn't know. He says, a guy from Los Angeles, Mike Zaggy, donated $2,600 towards a tech guy. That's mamish what we need for this guy. That's just, I don't know how he's mechaven. You told him anything? You didn't tell him a thing. So Yishkoyach Mike Zaggy, it was mamish al chizuk. Like, we're taking upon ourselves like another $70,000 more. What are we talking about? More, close to $100,000 of additional salaries to improve the shir. And here comes a guy and says, I want to take upon myself a month. He was excited about the fact that the Gemara was on the screen. Things like that we need to go in that direction. So Yishkoyach Mike Zaggy. We're still saying over these names, just 10 names. Yaakov Schoenfeld, $100. The MDY monthly Shkoyach for all the new people that came on board yesterday, the day before. Yossi Azulai, $100. MDYmonthly.com. Alan Listhouse, Dr. Alan David Listhouse, $300 a month. Shkoyach Dr. Listhouse. Nisanel Gans, $100. Moshe Cohen, $100. Neil Halpern, $100. Miza, it's not you, is it? Ethan Leichter, $100. Deborah Zuckerberg, 100. Aaron Schwartz, 100. Scott Pearl, 101. It says 101. There's an extra dollar there. I don't know why. Steven Stern, $200. Gil Abramov, $100. Yishgar Golemoid. And here we go to this month's sponsor of the Koilel, Lili Nishmas Chaya Bas Yosef. Second sponsor for the Koilel. May we always be able to support Torah, and may the Torah protect us from any harm. The Mesechta. Maybe instead of sponsoring the whole year of Yoshi, somebody can take upon himself a month. It'll be Givaldic. New art, new way to look at the daf. Ein Zgula is starting Be'ez Hashem this coming week. Ein Zgula kat Torah Tומכיה כיעקב ויעל. Parnas HaShavua, Shlomo Rubinstein, LeZaycher, Nishmash, Avi, Mori, Boruch, ben Leib. The Parnas HaChodesh, Eli Nishmash, zchurya ben Moshe. Parnas HaChodesh, Jeff Razin, zchus my son, Yosef, Simcha, Chaim, and Chana. Refuah Shlaima, Amen. Third Parnas HaChodesh, Dr. Avrum Epstein, in memory of my dear departed loved ones, including my recent Yontav yizkors. Parnas HaYom, Woody Weinman, in honor of our baby daughter coming home from the NICU. That's unbelievable. Simcha, that's the famous Woody Weinman, Mazel Tov. It's a big Simcha in honor of our baby daughter coming home from the NICU. Second sponsor of the day, LeRefuah Shlaima, Yitzchak Mordechai Fischel Ben Braina on hip surgery today. Anyone who can say one parak Tehillim or one Mishnah would be appreciated. Let me just read this. I don't want to forget to say the next thing. This is sponsored by the official new Mishnah, the guy that invented the official new Mishnah. Make Rosh Hashanah sweeter. Ksuba's commitments. Turning of the Daf inventor. Young Dafers inventors. Official mitzvah motivators inventor. Also official kosher caterers. V'chulu. Rabbi, I have a huge announcement to make. Huge. January 25th, on Wednesday, Siyum in Miami. Many people are wondering when to go, when to book their flights. That's the date. Wednesday, the Boy Bayayim of the first daf of Nazir, the Siyum of Nedarim, in Miami Beach on Wednesday. We'll see you there. Many people are excited. People are already booking tickets from, I know, England, from Eretz Yisrael, and of course from New York, which is just a skip hop away from New York. So we shall see you there. We did it with Dafka on Wednesday, not on Thursday, so that people from New York could get back, because a lot of them want to fly without their families. It's very understood. Come in for Geshmak time at a Siyum. And here we go. Shalom Aleichem. We met, no? What's your name? Avi Deutsch from Toronto. So you weren't there when I was there in Toronto. All right, next time, Be'ez Hashem. Shalom Aleichem. Who else do we have here? Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Gershon Roth from London. Shalom Aleichem. Yeah, I know over there. It's Gishmak. Very nice. Unbelievable. I'm still on a high from the whole London thing. All right. Zokti Heilige Gemara. We're holding Daf Chav Beis today. It's a very Gishmak Daf. Holding 3 lines from the top of Chav Beis Amud Aleph. Bar Brate, the grandson of the Reb Yanai Saba, the grandson of Reb Yanai, also the Kamei, the Reb Yanai Saba, Omarlei, I need help with my neder. Tells him Reb Yanai, Ilu Avi Yudas the Paschen Pinkosoch, Umimashmishin by Vodach Minadart. So very interesting yisoid about Nedarim. If you think you're such a chashiv guy, you think you're a big chassid, says the Rab, you think you're great, and you're able to take upon yourself new isurim, you're going with it, and you're so sure that you're not going to be nichshal in your neder, you think you're a chassid. So they're going to open up your book and start looking into you. Why do you need them to start opening up your book? So if you would have known that they're opening up your book and they're looking at all your cheshbainas, the averas, the mitzvahs, what's going on here, would you make a neder? Omar Leilai, I would never do such a thing. Bishari says Rabbi Yanai, okay, everything is good. No neder. Omar Rabbi Micro. Where do we see such a thing in the pasuk that they open up your books? Va'achar nedarim levaker. So there's a pasuk here in Mishlei. Moikesh Adam Yola Kodesh. So the pasuk is talking about a person that has a moikesh. He has a stumbling block. He does averis. Yola Kodesh is going to take away from him the kedusha, the kodesh. So what should he do, says Shlomo HaMelech? V'achar nedarim levaker. You should bring karbanos, but the Gemara plays on the words, v'achar nedarim, after you take a neder, levaker, they're going to look into you. That's not the pashas of the pasuk. Pashas of the pasuk is, you should bring a korban, you should do something. You have averis, do something about it, do tshuva. Okay, but the way it says it here, without seeing the whole pasuk, it makes a lot of sense, right? V'achar nedarim, after you make a neder, levaker, we're gonna, what's the word in English, levaker? Inspect. Okay, inspect. That's better. Inspect. Something like that. Afagav, the pasuk Reb Eli. Review. Says our guest, Rabbi Roth from London. I'm not even seeing. I hear the voice. What? Very good. Very good. You'd be good in Nedarim. You probably love this Masechta, no? You made levaker. You meant beef. Okay, very good. Very good. Afagav, the pasuk Reb Eli. Even though he actually does like Nedarim, I think. Judah, you like Nedarim? I knew it. So it's a great thing to make a Pesach. Had you known XYZ, you wouldn't have made your nether, right? Yeah. Had you known that they open up your books. Says the Gemara, Anan loy paschinin lei. We don't use that technique. Why? Imagine the Rav asks you, if you would have known that they open up your books, scrutinize. That's the word I'm looking for. Scrutinize. Okay, it's too hard for me to say. Inspect. If you would have known they're going to scrutinize everything you did and you're doing, would you say nether? So what's the guy going to say? Does he have an option to tell the Rav? No, I don't care. Next. No, I'm good with scrutinization. It doesn't work. Everybody's going to lie in front of the Rav. They're going to say, of course not. So every Rav is going to say you're potter, no nether. So we can't use that anymore. We have to let them have some honesty over here. There's no honesty. You're not giving them an option to be honest. Says the Gemara, and we don't use this other technique. What's this other technique? What did Rabbi Gamliel use? Here's a nice Pesach. Yesh boita levate b'svosayim. Right? A neder is a bitoy. It's something you say with your mouth. It's like kemagdirois chorev. It's like the stabbing of a sword. But if you go to a chacham, he'll heal you. Says the Gemara, says Did you want to be stabbed with the sword, Rabbi? Saba? No. Okay. So then it's not a neder. Did you know that you're chayiv misa? No. Okay. Fine. So therefore, I'm gonna make your nether garnish mitnish. So why can't I use it? Again, that kind of idea that who's going to lie about it? Yeah, I don't care about getting killed. I don't care about Misa. Everybody cares about Misa. If you don't care, you're not going to admit that you don't care. Now, it's very interesting that we're saying now the whole sugya is telling us Nedarim are no good. No good. Don't stay away from Nedarim. Happens to be that in Shulchan Aruch, how many simanim are there in Hilchos Nedarim? 38 simanim. How many simanim, for instance? That's a lot of simanim. How many simanim in Hilchos Nida? 18. 38 versus 18. So it's a very important thing, this Nedarim. But the whole first siman is dedicated to convince you not to do a neder. How terrible it is. Don't do Nedarim. It's not for you. Yeah, but that's okay. Says the Gemara, and we're not going to use this coming up technique. The Sanya Rebbe Nasanoimer. Hanoider kilu bonabama. I have a little bit of a picture. I don't know if this is the real thing, but when I did a little search, this is what came up: an antique bama, like from back in the day. It's like a stage, and they would bring their own korbanos on it, make their own mizbeach, not inside the Beis Hamikdash. Now, certain tkufas in Klal Yisrael there was mutter, but for the most part, a bama is aser. So just building a bama, is that a huge problem? Not the biggest problem in the world. What's worse than building a bama is and if you keep your neder, ki'ilu makriv olav karban. I mean, most Rishonim learn, the Mefarsh I see here says it's like he was makriv of a zara on it. Okay, you don't have to come on to that. If you build a bama and you bring a carbon on top of the bama, that's the worst part of it. You're bringing, it's a passing in Vayikra, El Pesach El Mayed, Lo Yevienu, LeZaycher Hashem, V'nichus Yishavu Me'amah. If he didn't bring the carbon in the oil mayed, if you don't bring it inside the Beis Hamikdash, v'nichras ha'isha u'me'amav, it's karas to bring zchut chutz. So the Ran says a beautiful thing here, a beautiful idea. What's the connection between someone that says a neder and someone who builds a bama in his backyard and brings a carbon on it? Why? Says the Ran, because they're doing in their head, they're doing something very similar. A person, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, bring a carbon in my Beis Hamikdash, in my oil mayed, and he says, no, I want to be a bigger tzaddik than that. Why should I bring all the way to Beis Hamikdash? I'm such a chosh of a person, I constantly want to bring korbanos to Hashem. I want to bring it even outside of the Beis Hamikdash. In his head, he thinks he's doing a mitzvah. Says the Ran, the same thing with the neder. In his head, he thinks, I'm staying away from this, and I'm staying away from wine. I'm chosh of a guy. Hashem said, don't do what I'm doing. But Hashem didn't realize that I'm even more chosh than that. I'm adding stuff that Hashem allows me to eat, and I'm doing even more. So it's similar to Obama. Okay. Says the Gemara, Bereisha Paschinon. The first part of building a bama, you're like a bama. So the guy, you tell the guy, if you would have known that what you did is like building a bama, so now he's not so embarrassed to deny it. Because it's not the biggest aver in the world to build a bama. The big aver is to put the carbon on the bama. So something that is not so embarrassed, I can use as a Pesach. So Bereisha Paschinon. Beseifa. But what about the real big avera that's karas, to put a carbon? I'm telling you, your neder, what you're doing right now is like bringing a carbon outside of Beis Hamikdash. Abai Omar Paschinon, I can use that. It's not so terrible. People are not that embarrassed to admit that. Rav Amar Leib Paschinon. No, it's not a good neder. It's not a good Pesach. Rav Kana Masna Lo Shmaitz Baldin Lishna. Rav Kana says it differently. Rav Yomi Masna Acha. Everybody agrees that the serious avera of being makriv a carbon you cannot use as a technique, because nobody will have the audacity to look at the Rav and the eye and say, I don't care about that one. No, if I would have known that my neder is like bringing a carbon as I don't care. Nobody can do that. Bereisha, but the first part, building the mama, over there we have the machlok. It's not in the sefer, but rather in the ratio, which is it's lighter. Says the Gemara, loy paschinon, loy bereisha v'loy b'seifa. At the end of the day, says the Gemara, we can't use any of these as a technique to get the guy out of his nether. We can't say, had you known that it's like a bama. I don't think anybody in this room knew that, right? If any of us would have gone to the Rav yesterday, and the Rav would have said, did you know that making a nether is like building a bama? Most of us would have said, no, I didn't learn Nedarim, I don't know. I didn't know that. Did you know that it's like bringing a carbon outside of Beis Hamikdash? No. So l'chayr, it's a good Pesach. Says the Gemara, you can't use that. V'loy paschinam b'hanami the Shmuel, and we cannot use Shmuel's technique. Doma Shmuel afal pishem mekayimoi. Any neder in the world that you are fulfilling, you said that you're going to be on a diet, whatever it is. Maybe diet is different. I was thinking about it today because I kept on pushing that idea of giving tzedakah to the tzedakah you don't like if you break your diet. But diet is for health reasons. But stop. I'm not going to go to my mother-in-law's house. I'm making a neder, I'm not going to her house. And if I do, so call me kaimai nikra Rasha. You're a Rasha for keeping a neder. Or Ravavo micro. What do you see? What do you see this in the pasuk? Says the Gemara, if you stop making nedarim, it says in the pasuk, you're not going to have a sin. So we already learned in this Masechta. If you stop making nedarim, you're not going to have a sin. Meaning, if you don't stop making nedarim, you will have a sin. But we're not looking for sin here. We're looking for Rasha. How do I know that guy is a Rasha? But once we know this idea, that if you do make a neder, you will have a sin. And it also says, it says by us. We just said, Sham Rishayim Chadlu Roiges. It says the two words together. The word Chadal, like by us, Kisechdal, and it says Rishayim. So now I know that somebody makes a neder is a Rosh. Omer Rabbi Yosef, Avanana Mitanina. We also learned, Kinidrek Sherim Leomaklum. If a person makes a neder and he says, I'm making a neder, I'm making a vow like a tzaddik does. But guess what? Tzaddikim don't make vows, and therefore what he said is 0 leomaklum. But if he says Kinidri Rishayim, I want to make a vow like a big Russia. Now he's talking because that's what Rishayim do. They make nedarim all day long. I swear this, I swear that. I'm going to make a neder this, neder that. Neder b'nazir or b'karban or b'shvua. Therefore, his neder is chal, the naziros, whatever he did, the shvua is all great because he said the lashon of Rishayim. So you see that again, Rishayim are ones who make nedarim. Now, the Ran brings here the Yerushalmi. So I just printed it out for you. I believe that this is, when we learn this, we see how to live. We see hashkafa within the Gemara. I think it's a very important piece of hashkafa. It says in the Yerushalmi, Rav Dimi b'shem Rabbi Yitzchak, the Ran brings it, so he holds that this is very important to the sugya. Isn't it enough? All the Yisurim that the Torah gave us? Don't we have enough Hilchas Shabbos, Hilchas Kashrus, Taras Mishpacha, everything? You need to add, you need to be more machmir than the Torah. That's awesome. It's awesome. So it gives us an insight on how to live, on what's important in life. Don't think that you're a big tzaddik by adding stuff that you shouldn't be adding. In all areas of life.
Away from a good thing, I know they're alive, something awesome.
That's exactly what it says. That's exactly what the Gemara is saying. You're Russia. On what? Oh, lidvar mitzvah.
To go to the beach, to go to somewhere that...
Yeah, that's okay. That we learned. That's something else. That's a different thing. You're making a neder for to be mechazik Torah, to be mechazik a mitzvah. That's something else. That we learned. This seder. That we're not talking about that. We're talking about what? You're right, but we see that you're allowed to. That you're allowed to. Even in our sugya today, we're going to bring stories of I'm not eating by you. I swear not to eat. For whatever reason, it was important not to eat by the guy.
That's not Yosef, about Yosef. You're not referred to about Yosef.
No, not about Yosef. There's a lot of areas, each person their own thing, and Dail Hakim means that there's certain areas in life where people want to be more machmer, want to this, and we have to keep in mind, this is Yerushalmi. The Torah gave us a lot of Yisurim. You don't have to add Yisurim to the Torah. So each one in their own thing, and ask your rabbi, but it's a certain compass, it's a certain attitude with the Torah. That's each in their own thing. But I'm saying some people think, let's say you make a tanesim. You do. The Torah gave you Yisurim. The Torah we have enough. We have tanesim in our life. Now, of course, there's another level of somebody that's on a very high level. Like we spoke yesterday, the other day about Reb Eli, and he took upon himself a tainus, and he did this, and he for the dakas. Okay, that's something else. But us as regular human beings, a lot of this stuff is awesome for us to do. Again, first fix the basics, and then you jump to the tzidkis and those other inyanim. Anyway, Omar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, Omar Rabbi Yonasan. Kol hakoyas. Because we're talking about nedarim here. Why does a person make a neder? A person is furious. He's mad at his wife, so he makes a neder on her. He's mad at his shviger, he makes a neder on her. It comes out of kas. So you have to understand that kol hakoyas, kol minei gehenim shaltem boy. It's very possible that the gehenim, it's not just a big barbecue that has a very high. Gehenim could be also a deep freeze, maybe. Different stuff, different Gehenims, the different areas in Gehenim. Some are cold, some are hot, some are, I don't know what, some are blenders. I don't know what a Gehenim is. This kol mine Gehenim. So whoever's koyes has kol mine Gehenim shaltem ba. Shenemar, v'hoser kas milibecho, v'have ro mibsorecho. V'hin ro el Gehenim. So you see, the kas brings ra. Take away the kas, take away the ra. And what's Gehenim's called ra? Shenemar kol pa'al Hashem lemaneu v'gam rasha liyoim ra. Hashem made everything for him, and even the rasha has that his day in Gehenim. I'll never forget a clip that I once saw. I don't advise anybody to see it, but it was in the middle of a basketball game, right? Game, like it was like in a European game or something. And one of the players didn't like the call that the ref made. So he walks over to the pole of the basketball thing, and he whacks his head in the pole and made himself a vegetable for the rest of the day. Killed himself. I don't remember. His neck snapped on the spot. He goes, boom, because. Kas. Kas means that you're not in control. And when you're not in control, you don't have a Kodesh Baruch Hu in your life. You're saying, I don't have, it's LeZaycher, because you don't have a Kodesh Baruch Hu in your life. He's not in control. He didn't know what he was doing. He just killed himself on the spot, in front of on camera. Poof. Listen to this one. This is incredible. He's going to have hemorrhoids. So the big question is, the Steipel asked the question. 1 minute of Gehenim is worse than any hemorrhoids anybody could ever have. So it says, you're going to Gehenim for who knows how long. And it says, by the way, and not only that, you won the lottery. Is the lottery still going? $2 billion. Not only the $2 billion, but I'm also going to give you 26 cents because I owe you a stick of gum. What? You're getting Gehenim, the worst. And by the way, I'm also going to give you a scratch. So the Steipler says that, unfortunately, that's how human beings are. They don't see. You tell them, look, if you learn a Daf Gemara, you're going to get 100 years in Gan Eden. It means nothing to you because you're not there. They get $100. Okay, I'll learn 100. For $100, I'll learn Daf Gemara. They don't associate. You're not associating. So what am I going to tell you? All the Gehenim in the world. And by the way, you also get tachtonis. You also get hemorrhoids. But another thing is that a person has to understand that who's he and who's. Sometimes we disassociate. We say, oh, that's the neshama. The neshama is going to be in Gehenim. I'm going to be in the ground over here. It's like, no, you are the neshama. Your guf is only the beged. It's only the clothing. So I'm telling you like this. You, not you. Him is going to be in Gehenim. Not only that, even the clothing is going to suffer. Even the part that you think is not you, even that other part is also going to have tachtonis. Hashem l'cha sham Leib ragos v'chilyon einayim v'davoin nafesh. The what? Eizu davar shemechalas einayim u'madibes hanefesh. The one thing that causes problems with the eyesight and creates a lot of tsar. Hemorrhoids. The Gemara always talks about it. I don't know. It was a big thing back then. Maybe they didn't have the medications. I don't know. I never. Okay, it's a thing. The Belzer told me. I hope I could say this over because I thought it was beautiful when he told it to me. I don't know if it is or isn't. So I wrote it down as best as I can. He says that at the end of Ksubis, anybody that learned Ksubis remembers this Gemara, that Rabba's brothers told them, you should make Aliyah, go up to Eretz Yisrael. Remember, at the end of Ksubis, we're talking about Eretz Yisrael, and go. And he says, the Rabba, and he tells him, if you don't, you have to be very careful. If you stay in Bavel, you have to be very careful. Don't walk too much because it's not good for your eyes, and don't stand up too much because it's not good for your heart, and don't sit too much because it's not good for Tachtonias. So I remember then the Belzer was always what? And if you go to Eretz Yisrael, you don't have to be worried about standing. What? You're allowed to stand as long as you want. You're allowed to walk as much as you want in Eretz Yisrael. So he said, now everything makes sense to him. Because when I was going to see soon, maybe I should have waited for soon, but in Eretz Yisrael, you don't have that kas that you have in Chutz La'aretz. So you have the Leib ragos, which causes heartache. And the Kilyan Einayim, the Davin Nefesh, the Tachtonias, that all happens from living in Chutz La'aretz. As is Mucha from the Gemara. So all those things, here as you see in the Pasuk, Einayim, the eyes, the Gemara over there explains it's walking, but you have Mechal Einayim, Madiv Nefesh, all those things is because you live in Chutz La'aretz. Yeah. Ula. I said, I hope like when I was talking in London, I said, I hope the other one understood because I just said like a line, like I'm not promoting Aliyah. Like I wasn't saying that I'm against. I didn't want people to think that I'm standing there and saying, everybody come to Eretz Yisrael right now with your children that are 12 years old and 13 years old, the worst age to bring children into Eretz Yisrael. So I said, listen, it's a huge thing and I myself did it, but don't, whatever. Okay. Eretz Yisrael is Eretz Yisrael. What? We're not going to... Ula, Zok the Gemara. Ula, b'maskil Eretz Yisrael. When Ula was going up to Eretz Yisrael, Islavule train b'nei Chazoi ba'adei. 2 Jews from Chazoi came with him. Says the Gemara, Kom Chad Shachta l'Chavrei. One murdered his friend. Now, you have to understand the situation. It's knife to the neck. The guy is bleeding. Immediately he turns to Ula. He says, "Like my handiwork? It's gishmak. It was good. It's a good thing I killed him." Omar Lei Lula Yosef. Not the next day. You're talking about 3 seconds later. Omar Lein, beautiful, great job, unbelievable. Then just the way that you cut it, mamish, pro. But there's one problem. The guy is still semi-alive. He's suffering. Do me a favor, just open up a little bit wider so the guy dies immediately. So Reb Shlomo Kluger wants to prove from here, and this is mamish ma'aseh shebechol yom. If a person is suffering, person has yena machla and he's in his last days, are you allowed to pull the plug? Are you allowed to this? Are you allowed to hasten the death? And he wants to prove from this Gemara that you could. But many argue and say, no, it's very different that when a person shoots somebody, it's a Maisa Adam, and the guy is going to die right now. Just it's going to take a few minutes, so then you hurry it up, rather than the Malach HaMaves killing somebody, a slow death from illness, that there, for sure, you can't, most holy, you can't go ahead and be Mekar of the Misa, because every minute that a person lives is Chai Netzach, Chai Isha, Chai Oila. So I'm just saying that from this Gemara, they want to prove that he told him, open it up, make him die quicker, because the guy was suffering, and there's zero chance the guy was going to live. It's just a matter of, he's going to die right now, or in 1 minute from now, but in tremendous, tremendous agony and pain and suffering. So hasten it. Says the Gemara, so he finally gets tired to Yisrael. He comes to Rabbi Yochanan and he feels a little guilty. Maybe I helped the guy. I gave him chizuk. I told him he's a great murderer. In other words, why did Ula tell him, yes, you're a great murderer? Because Ula sees he's holding that knife in his hand. And he's the witness to the murder. So if he tells him, no, what are you doing? Why killing another Jew? You take the knife and kill Ula, so there's no witnesses. Ula feared for his life. So Rabbi Yochanan told him, you did the right thing. You see a ritzeach, you just say whatever you need to say to get out of the situation. Kotoma Rabbi Yochanan. But Rabbi Yochanan had a problem. In Bavel, where you live, that's where you're going to have a lot of kas. Interesting, some Sefer says in Parashat Vayigash, it says, Al tirgizu baderach. Yosef tells his brothers, don't be upset on the way. What? But at home you're allowed to be upset. What's on the way? He says, no, because on the way they're in Chutz La'aretz, they're from Mitzrayim to Eretz Yisrael. But once they get home, it's already Eretz Yisrael. So Al tirgizu baderach. Don't be upset at each other on the way. I'm not worried that there's going to be any kas when you get to Eretz Yisrael. So he explains to him, Mullah says, we weren't in Eretz Yisrael yet. You're right, in Eretz Yisrael there's less kas. Now you understand a little bit more what the bells were saying. The kas causes the Leib. That's why you have Leib issues. That's why when you're in Eretz Yisrael, be careful with your heart. As a zchus to continue being able to support Torah and to finish shots with Reb Eli, Refuah Shlaima, Boruch ben Sarah, Ita Yudis Bas Mindel, that's not going to be Yavim ben Ita Yehudis. Or Rabba Baravuno. A person who is angry, then he doesn't even care about Gosh Baruch Hu Shenema Rosha Ki Goiva Apoy Val Yidrosh Ein Elokim Kol Mizim Moisav. All his thoughts, he doesn't have Hashem in his thoughts. He's lost. He's done. I don't know if this is a Geshmaga story, but I heard it from a few people, so I want to say it over real quickly. The Stipler, somebody came to him and said, I have a kas problem. You have a kas problem? Yosef, I'm warning you right now, do not use this as a thumbnail. So the Stipler says, okay, I have AIDS for you. Stare at my face, don't take your eyes off for 60 seconds. He says, okay. So then after a few seconds, he looks at the Stipler, he says, that's what you look like when you're bekas. Those are the faces you make, you just don't realize. You look like an animal, you look like a behemoth. The guy said, oh, it helped him. Okay, whatever. I'm just saying it over.
I promise I won't use that as a If I get a nice sponsorship, I'll use it.
It's too late. By the time they hear this, Good. I'm not worried. You're not going to get a sponsorship for that. When your person is bekas, he forgets his learning and adds stupidity. Kas will sit in his lap, the shaita. He'll broadcast his stupidity. You could tell a person that's gas, you should just know he has more averis than zchus shenemar ubalchemo rav posha. He has more sins. Omar avado bar chanino ilmolei chod Yisrael. If Klal Yisrael didn't sin, lo nitan lahem elo chamishe chumshei Torah v'sefer Yeshua. Yeah, right. Sure. How much?
$100.
I'll double it. I don't. For $100, you're going to be mevayish me like that? No way. Nothing less than $10,000. Zog the Gemara. And then I have to hear from the Salon Gans. Why does he do these thumbnails? It doesn't help the shear. You better not do it. Okay. Says the Gemara. Klal Yisrael needed Musar. The Nevi'im are all about Musar. And if Klal Yisrael didn't sin, they wouldn't need the Musar. They have Chamisha Chum Shetoyer, Sefer Yeshua. I saw the Ben Yehuda says this would be our Shisha Sifrei Mishnah. We wouldn't need Gemara. We would have the 5 Chumashim and Yeshua. By the way, this time I don't even know if I should mention them. There's a group called Shomronim. They have Chamisha Chum Shetoyer and Yeshua. Mamash like this Gemara. That's all they have. They don't believe in the rest. Says the Gemara. Reb Eli Stefansky, very interesting, because to me it was a chiddush. What do you teach your kid? You have to teach your kid Torah. How much? What? All Tanakh? Not Tanakh. He says you have to teach your kids Chamisha Chumshei Torah. Not Tanakh. That's his thing to do. You have to teach him how to live life and not sin. Not be choita. That's a Chamisha Chumshei Torah. That's what you teach him. The rest, the halachas, the diyukim, to learn it, chazer it, and to remember it. And everything else, that's your child's obligation. You have to teach him a job also. He says it's in the same Gemara in Kedushin as teaching your kid a malacha. You taught him. You don't have to hold his hand and bring him to work. You teach him how to do it. Then from there on, it's his business to make money and do the rest. So you say for Yeshua is Eretz Yisrael, is about Eretz Yisrael, so that we do need. Says Gemara, my time ki beroiv chachma rav koas. The chachma that we got, the extra chachma in the Nevi'im came from a lot of anger. Omer Avasi, ein niskokim lelukei Yisrael. Says the Ran that the sugya, it's machlokes Rishon. Well, of course, we have to go with one Rishon throughout usually, unless we don't have pshat. We're going with the Ran. The Ran says that this sugya is a sugya of shvuah, not neder. A niskakim lelikei Yisrael is referring to we don't help somebody that swears. Somebody that swears, we're not going to give him a Torah. All these sugyas that we learned until now are nedarim. Come to the Rav, he'll try to help you out. Tomorrow we'll see a whole who helps you, a mumcha, 3 people that are not mumchim, etc. But we help you out, not in a shvuah. Now it's very interesting that in Parshas HaShavua, this parsha, we have this idea of a shvuah. Avram Avinu was mashbia Eliezer. Not only that, he made him hold something. He made him hold a chayfetz. That's the idea of holding a sefer Torah in your hand. He's mashbia him. Says Rav Asi, if somebody comes with a shvuah, too bad on you. Chutz. Now, if a Rav, by mistake, b'diavad, was matir, okay, it's mutter. But a Rav, typically, he hears the shvuah, he says, get out of here. Chutz, mekainam, ishti, nehenesli. If a person makes a shvuah, so now when it says kainam, you have to just translate. Typically, kainam means what? A neder. Today, it means shvuah, according to the Ran. Chutz, mekainam, ishti, nehenesli, I swear, and the swearing has Hashem's name in it, swear that I'm not going to let my wife benefit from me. Why? Shegonva is kisi, she stole my money. V'sheik says b'ni, and she beat my son up. And v'noida shlei gonva v'shlei katu. Now, this is a big problem in the Rishonim. If it was known as the Ran that she didn't do it, then it's a neder b'shoigeg. It's not a real neder. So he brings the Rashba that says that the husband says mefurish, I don't care whether it happened or not. That's it. I'm doing a neder on her. He was so upset, like Maybe he started thinking about other things that she might have done and did to him. He's throwing it all into one neder. I'm done with her. Your original reason doesn't exist. Okay, trust me. I have 5 other reasons why I don't want her to have any benefit from my nechasa. But what's interesting is that the Mefarish over here on the side brings that it's the famous thing that if HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, erase my name for Shalom Bayis, where did he say that? That if somebody accuses his wife of being a Saita, you bring it to the Beis HaMikdash, and you write Hashem's name on a part, the whole parsha of Saita includes Hashem's name, you put it in water, and the name gets erased. Why? To bring peace between a husband and wife. So if HaKadosh Baruch Hu erases his own name for Shalom Bayis, so we will go into a shvuah that has Hashem's name and erase it, so to speak, and be matter it so that a husband could live happily with his wife. There's a woman who came to Ravasi. Omar lo b'may nedart. Again, the word neder over here means what? Shvuah. What was your shvuah? B'likei Yisrael. Omar lo, I used Hashem's name. In nedart b'may. Shikinu ba'alma. If you would have used not Hashem's name, kinu. Right, so we said Moshe, Moshe, but over here it's not really brought down, but maybe that's, l'chayr. B'may, shikinu ba'alma. It says by you Moshe? Okay, yeah, that's what we said in the beginning of this Masechta. Okay, b'may, which is just a kinu. Then, mizdakikina lach, then I would have helped you out. Hashd l'nedart b'may, elabekei Yisrael. Lo mizdakikina lach. I cannot help you out. So the Ran has another girse that's mamish fakert. That even b'mayhi, I can't help you out. So certainly in Hashem's name. So it's mamish machloikis. Could I help you out when you make a shvuah without Hashem's name or not? To your size. But that's typical for Nedarim. Rav Kahana ikla lebei Rav Yosef Omar lei. Lutoy marmidi. Rav Kahana was a guest by Rav Yosef. He says, please eat. Omar lei loy. I'm not eating. Not only am I not eating, Mori kula loy ta'im lei. In Hashem's name, I'm not touching anything here. I guess it was very important to him. Based on everything we learned, he whatever, maybe a tightness or whatever he had. Omar lei. So he repeats the words. He makes a shvuah, so to speak. Says Gemara, I don't understand. Why would Rav Yosef make a shvuah back to Rav Kahana that you can't eat from me? He already made a shvuah. Rav Kahana made a shvuah, he's not going to eat. El Rav Yosef, no. He's just repeating. He said, you just made a perfect shvuah. You make a perfect shvuah. I'm sorry. You're right. Then you can't eat by me. Omar Rav Omar Nachman. Not that he himself made a shvuah. Omar Nachman ilchasa poischim becharata. The halacha is whether it's a neder, whether it's a shvuah. What do we start out with? We have the two things of a Torah. We have a Pesach and a charata. The easier one is charata, and that says that today I regret what I did yesterday. Yesterday I was bikas, right? It's all about kas. Today I'm not, and now I can look back and I have charata. A Pesach means, had I known a certain piece of information, yesterday I wouldn't have done it. But it says the Gemara, you start with charata. V'niskakim l'lekei Yisrael. And if he says Hashem's name, you could be niskak. So I just want to show you real quickly. I did this. I took this out of the Ran. You see on this chart. It says, the Ran says, you could go, even if a person is holding a Sefer Torah, it's not Malo Meir, it's Sefer Torah. Fine. There's a story I once heard, it's not a Givaldic story, but there's a story of a Amorit that came to a Rav, and the Rav saw he's about to make a Shvuah sheker. He says, I'll give you a Sefer Torah to hold. The guy says, no problem. But he knew that it's a sheker. So Rav says, listen, I see you're a problem person. I want you to hold the 2 luchas. 2 luchas. Shnei luchas are bris. That you're asking to do, and he tells this guy, go get the shnei luchas. He says, no, I'm moida. That was the story. He was moida that on the 2 luchas he's not going to do. But his Talmud said, well, what do you luchas? He says, no, I meant to say for shnei luchas are bris. But he's an amoritz, he thought it's the luchas. Fine. But upon him here, the Rav Hai Goin says like this. The Rav Hai Goin was machmir when it comes to Nedarim, not to give him the charata option. Even though we said there's 2 options, don't give him charata when it comes to neder. And then he brings Rav Nasi al Bargluni says that you never go to a neder. You never help a guy out with a neder unless it's for a mitzvah, and you only go to the harder thing, which is a Pesach, not a charata. And finally, we have Rav Haigoin, who says when it comes to Shvuah, never help a guy out. Only, it was a nicer color, it was gray in the real thing. Ella imkain mitzvah shalom bayis. I wrote that, it's my lashon. Fine. If it's mitzvah or shalom bayis, then when it comes to Shvuah, then we will be mizdaki. Says the Gemara. Mishtabech le Rav Nachman Rav Zchorya Dalim Gadol. Rav told Rav Nachman, there's an unbelievable Gadol coming, his name is Rav Zchorya. Omar Loi, so Rav Nachman says, I want to meet him. They bring him here. Rav Zchorya just happened to have a nether. Also coming to Rav Nachman, so he comes to Rav Nachman, so he tries to find him a Pesach. Yeah, I thought about the Pesach. No, I still made a nether. Had you known this and this and that, would you make the nether? He says, yes, I would have made the nether. He tries for me, he tries it. Rav Nachman is very upset at Rav Zchorya. Get out of here. Go to your porch. You're in punishment. So, how come we didn't give him a charata? Charata is the easiest thing. Why do you need to do a Pesach? Pesach, he could have excuses. Had you known this and this and that, would you made the nether? And he says, yes, I would have. Okay. Charata means, do you regret it today? Yes, you regret it today. Because Rav Nachman knew that Rav Zchorya didn't want a charata. Because if he wanted charata, he wouldn't come to him, says the Rad. He wanted a deeper thing, like a Pesach. Now, the Ran says a beautiful thing here. I think it's very, very important. The biggest side. Another thing, says the Ran. Let's say Rav Zchorya made a bunch of fasts. He fasted for 40 days. And Rav Nachman gave him a charata. Guess what happens? When you're charata, you have charata, and it's unbelievably side in Yiddishkeit. We had it a few times. When you have charata on a mitzvah that you did, what happens to the mitzvah? Gets erased. So he didn't want to do charata. He didn't want to regret what he did. What he wanted is a Pesach. Pesach would leave all his Tanesim in place and would just uproot the nether, but his Tanesim would be in place. Says the Ram, maybe he was about Nedarim, maybe it was things like that. He doesn't know, but maybe. But it's a nice side in terms of the difference between a Pesach and a Charata, how it affects your mitzvah that you did. Says the Gemara. Wow, it's late. Okay, let's just... You know what? Fine, we'll stop over here. It's the middle of sugya, but it connects to the next sugya. Have a wonderful day.